Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of any time we put new content on. Today's guest, she's been a busy bee at the moment with all the, well, not with work, but with other stuff, more charitable stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's Sadie. How are you, Sadie?
I'm good, thank you.
You good? How's everything? Obviously, lockdown and shit, and all the acting stuff's sort of gone by the wayside at the moment.
Yeah.
But you're all right though.
Yeah, do you know what? I've been busier than I thought I would have been. And
Yeah,
I've got stuck in with a lot of things, which I'm grateful that I've had the time to do.
sure. No, I know we've had quite a few actors and performers on the channel, and yeah, it's shit times at the moment, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's like, what can you do? Nothing you can do about it, isn't it? There's
No,
nothing you can do.
no. I've been quite lucky though. I'm doing a few things and I've got the ball sort of rolling, and I'm quite lucky with the things that I've got. So I'm grateful for the things that I'm doing and the people that have sort of spotted me, cited me, and the
Yeah.
plans that I've got. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. It was funny. I was interviewing Tom Aldridge, who's he plays Ron Weasley in the West End at the West End Potter, and I said to him, I said, "What's going to happen when you go back? Were you going to remember your lines?" And he went, "You know what? I've been doing it for like 3 years. I can't remember a fucking word of them, to be honest."
Yeah.
But it must be, as we said before you started, it must be weird because obviously you're having to do more stuff on like in your house, and
Yeah.
that's not where you perform usually. You're on a stage or somewhere, so it must be strange, whereas most people can work from home and it just doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's a bit different for performers, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's hard to shake you out of every character that you've got.
Mm.
It's a bit hard to stop doing it like how I would do it in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Because I am in my bedroom doing
Yeah, it's the trouble. It's like, and everyone sort of looks at you for a minute, and they look at what you got, look at your telly, look at what
Yeah.
your wardrobe, and see if it's nice and tidy and everything like that. No, and it's you've gone for a nice grey. I saw that my whole house is grey now. It seems it's like me and my daughter take the piss out of my wife because literally everything's grey, that sort of dark grey, but very good. And obviously you've been keeping, and we've had Neil on the channel, and you've been getting stuck in with the old advent calendars and the food bank stuff. That must be very rewarding.
Yeah, do you know what? It's really nice to see how everyone else is contributing as well. It's nice that there's really nice people out there. And I didn't think there was, but clearly there's some really big, really big hearts.
Yeah. Was it something like 600 something? There's a crazy amount of advent calendars that you've sent over now, and
I've done 300 and £300 worth, and I've still got more coming in. I've got £100 in the PayPal still, and I've got about 60 calendars at home, and it's still coming.
Oh god, the people at Sainsbury's must love you every time you turn up. Just like all the boxes, just like just put them all into your basket and off you go. No, it's lovely, and it is. I mean, I do quite a bit. We've doing quite a bit on the channel for the food banks, and they're a good bunch of people, and it's nice, and it does. It's reinvigorated my the human my understanding of the human race, as you said. It's like you don't think there's so many nice people in the world, but there are a lot of nice people. There's a lot of crap people in the world, but there's a lot of nice people, and that outweighs it, which is really, really warming, in it, when people can do that stuff. I've seen when you had like that taxi full of grub, and like just it seems such a good idea at the time, isn't it? Then I think the logistics around it, but literally filling up a taxi full of grub to take around the food banks. But yeah, it's nice. It must be nice to sort of feel like you're sort of contributing, especially as you said at the moment. You sort of like the acting stuff isn't on at the moment, but well, not all of it, but it is good. And you're doing the stuff at is it the Brookside Theatre? You're doing
the Brookside in Romford. So I'm doing the Wizard of Oz there. And obviously I'm doing like a Miss International pageant, which I'm representing. So I'm doing a lot more for my local area because I represent them. And that's like, this is why I'm grateful that COVID sort of came along, as it's, for me personally, it's opened different pathways where I can help in other senses, and it's sort of made me grow as a person to not be so selfish, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm very similar, to be honest. Very, very similar. And as you said, the pageant stuff and doing all the charity work and stuff. But it's like it's not like you're doing it for doing its sake. Do you know what I mean? You're actually doing it because you want to make a difference, and that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I've got more stuck in than I thought I would. I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't want people to think, oh, she's doing a pageant, she's doing this. It's actually allowed me to use that status and do more for people than I would be able to, and it's quite nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. That is good. Yeah, and how are rehearsals going for the show for the Wizard of Oz?
Manic. It's hard.
Is it?
It's hard trying to do it with all the restrictions.
Of course, yeah.
It's so different. Like not being able to see someone's face whilst you're acting, and then you having to stay a certain like distance away from people. It's really hard because like someone's playing my auntie and I've got a really close connection with them, and I can't portray that how I normally would. Because like in theatre you have to be very obvious for an audience, like arm around them, they're loving. Whereas now you've got to work so hard, and it's good. It is a good thing so that I can become a better actor, but it's hard.
It's a whole new thing, and obviously because you're doing it, there, it's not like for like some show. I mean, even we've had like even people from. Like we had like Perry Fenwicks, we had like Billy Mitchell, and we've had Jay on the channel, and they've really struggled, even in their bubbles, so to speak, because they're obviously so that's why at EastEnders at the moment everyone's in the same storylines because they're in the same bloody bubble with each other. So he says even that's weird because they have to reshoot it 3 times, and shooting takes twice as long because they've got to do it to make it not seem so obvious that they're 2 meters apart. And yeah, it's not great, is it? But it is what it is. There's nothing to do about it, is there? So
you just have to
it surprised me. Go on, what you can say?
Oh. No, I'm saying just have to work with it because if you don't work with it, then nothing's going to change.
It surprised me how well people have seemed to have adjusted to it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like for a lot of people, they've been doing the same thing the same way all the time. Now they've got and now it's almost like second nature. You walk into a co-op now and you put your face mask on and stuff in it. It's which is horrible to think about it, but although wasn't it the first year anniversary of COVID about 10 days ago? I think
it was literally less than 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, it's been crazy, isn't it? Bad.
Especially coming up to Christmas, because I remember last year there was all this sort of like when it's come up to Christmas, like in the newspapers and stuff about this horrible disease in China, and I remember seeing YouTube clips of people and thinking, oh dear, it's like SARS and it's like bird flu, and didn't think it was going to completely change the world, which it has done.
It has changed things. Is drastic.
No, it's mental, isn't it? Absolutely mental. So anyway, as we said, Miss Newham International, which is fantastic, but more importantly than that, and all the the food bank stuff, that's all great. Wizard of Oz, brilliant. More importantly, say that you're a West Ham fan.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing for this channel.
I know.
It's nice, it's great, it's lovely, but we talk about West Ham and this. So, what I tend to ask when I get everyone on the channel is basically why did you burden yourself with supporting West Ham? What was your story?
So I don't have a choice. My family is massive, and every single person in my family is West Ham supporter. So we wouldn't have a choice. Like my memories of being little was going to the old ground, eating pie and mash, and like that's what I used to go and be like, oh my God, I want pie and mash. I want to go watch this. I want to go watch that. And for me, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I know the offside rule. I don't.
No.
I don't watch football for that. I watch football for the sense of, especially West Ham, like they're a community and they are. Yeah. It's like they're like a family. Like everyone looks after everyone, and that's what I do like with this club. So, long story short, my whole family is West Ham. If you cut them open, they bleed it. Don't have a choice, and I'm okay with it. I think it's a good club to be born into.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think even doing the stuff you're doing now, like the food bank stuff as well, it solidifies that whole idea of being a community and being a big family, because they are, Christ knows, I mean, I know you're doing this, they got the old Vic Tavern and stuff with Chuckling and stuff like that, but I mean, when I was doing the stuff over in September, I'm getting like 100 quid donations from like the Singapore Hammers, and it's like these guys probably never been to Newham, or whatever like that, and they're supporting the chat. They support it because it's part of the family, and it really sort of gave me like a warm feeling inside because it was so really nice
to know that everyone will look after you because you're a fan and because you're doing the work. Like I feel like everyone is a grafter and they do work for their money and they do work to help people, and that's what I do like.
Exactly, and it's one of those things where and particularly in the entertainment industry, Sadie, there's a lot of West Ham fans in the entertainment industry, and it does help to be a West Ham fan if you want to. It does definitely. There's a lot. There's a lot of we've had a lot of entertainers on here and performers, and a lot of stuff. Obviously, we had Ray on a couple of weeks ago, Ray Winston on, and obviously Danny and Tom Davis and all that. There's a lot out there. There's a lot out there, so it's not a bad thing to be a West Ham fan. I think it's a weird club, isn't it, being a West Ham? But it's character building. It's character building.
Definitely. Everyone's got their own little story, and it's actually quite nice. It's not just, I picked West Ham because it was a good team. It's like, I picked it because of this, and I like, everyone loves it.
And very few people have picked West Ham because it's a good team, Sadie. I'll tell you that. But that's it, and I think because of that, it breeds a certain type of fan, a certain type of personality, and particularly even more so in your game more than anything else. The amount of rejections and stuff you get at auditions and stuff. That's like being a West Ham fan, isn't it? Because when you get them, it's as sweet as anything because it's weird thinking of it that way, but I think it's probably even helped being a West Ham fan and being an actor, and because of that exact reason.
Yeah. 100%. And the support that I get from home is the same as it feels like whenever I do something good, that's like West Ham winning a game, my whole family goes crazy and they will support me like a whole stadium would, and that's how I'd make the connection.
Well, you see it now on Twitter, innit? When you put something out about the food banks, whatever, and we always get a ton of likes. Everyone's like, "Yeah, good on you, come on you Irons." Good of people, good giving back and the family coming together and stuff like that. That's what it's all about, and even more so now. With these troublesome times we're in now, those food banks are the lifeblood of Newham at the moment. It seems.
Yeah.
It's crazy when we have like John Matomsky when he tells me, he texts me and he's like, "Oh yeah, they run out of rice the other day." It's like, fucking hell, what I mean? Not being funny. It's like, it's horrible, and
it's hard to see how much they go through.
Oh, it's crazy.
Food they do go through. When I delivered it, there was pallets and pallets, and they were like, "Yeah, this will last us 2 weeks." About 20 pallets of food, and they was like, "Yeah, that's only 2 days because they do it once a week." I was like,
crazy. It's the size of the problem, just mental. And it's like I remember John would send me pictures of like 12,000 cans of dog food and he's sorted it out in his house and he's going to drive it down and stuff like that. And it's like at the moment we're going to start doing stuff for the toy appeal for the new recorder. Again for the kids, really. I mean, it's horrible to think, but I'm obviously I'm quite well up, I'm all right, and it's like, when you can get your daughter a Christmas, I won't say what it is because I don't want, in case she watches it and she'll get given, as if she'll listen to anything I say. She's 8 years old. I'm not whatever she watches, those really annoying Australian kids, Norris Nuts or something like that or anything. But anyway, it's you can sort of do that, but obviously, some parents can't do that, and so Newham Recorder Toy Appeal has been going 42 years. It's mental. It's like they're looking to do 2,000 sort of Santa's sacks, really, and it's horrible. It's heartbreaking. It's horrible. It's horrible, particularly as a parent. If you can't, so my wife, she feels really down, and if she can't get Flo an LOL doll that's out of stock, it's like, she's got 20 of them, you know what I mean? It's like 21st one don't make no difference to some people, but so it's same as the advent calendars and a selection box. I mean, that's like the basics, isn't it?
That's one thing a day that they get to look forward to for the whole lead Christmas.
That's a great way to think of it.
As a kid, I'd be like, "Oh, I want this," and because I've got family members, I get about 6 calendars. So I'm like, "Yeah, well, about 6 chocolates to eat today." That could be that kid's highlight of the day, and you don't know that.
It's horrible to think that, isn't it? So it's awful when you think, every day for the next 24 days, they'll have a little bit something to look forward to in the morning. It's horrible, but no, it is, and it's but at least people are starting to do something about it now properly, and mobilizing, as you said, the stuff you're doing and the stuff like John does is it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But anyway. On a less depressing note, West Ham are doing all right at the moment, so that's all right for once, isn't it? No fans in the stadium, or maybe there might have some fans there soon, but no fans in the stadium, and they're doing all right at the moment. So, for you, is it all is everyone sort of when West Ham? Because you said you come from a big family and stuff, is it all around the box watching the game when it's on?
Oh yeah, everyone. we all live quite close together. So if it's not on in the house, there's about 50 people in the house, then everyone's over watching it at the stadium. And if they can't, it's messaging, what's happening? Send me this, send me a video of that. But that's what it is.
Oh, that's good. That's fun. No, it's nice, isn't it? And as you said, it brings people together. This is your family. You didn't have a choice, and no, it's all good. So do you remember, Sadie, a bit of a level, do you remember your first game at Upton Park?
Really
or maybe do you remember you're being there for the first time? You don't know. You're like me. I'm rubbish at remembering dates and things like that. But do you remember the first time you saw the hallowed turf of Upton Park?
Oh, I was young. I was tiny. I remember going there to eat pie and mash and just being there with people. I don't remember much other than that.
Yeah.
But I remember like the last time my great nan, her ashes was like one of the last people to have her ashes scattered over the first ground.
Sure.
And we was one of the last families to sort of be there.
Wow.
For that. So that's like, we all hold that quite close.
Yeah. It's nice.
Millions of times. Walk
past. It's a thing, isn't it? It's some people are like an encyclopedic mind, and remember, I'm not the same. I'm rubbish with things blend into one, and I can't remember if it was he that scored or he that scored. But as you said, it's not necessarily about the game, but it's about being there. It's about having the pie and mash, which you said a few times now. So I think you're probably quite obsessed with pie and mash, to be honest. So to be perfectly honest, what you go to? Is it 2 and 2?
Oh, of course.
Is it 2 and 2?
Not worth going.
with that green stuff, liquor.
Yeah, if you don't have that, then it's not real pie mash.
What about the Is it the chili? Do you know what? I'm showing myself up. I don't like pie mash. I'll be honest. People know about it on the channel. My wife buys it. My wife likes it. My mother-in-law loves it, but I don't.
Yeah.
And do you put the chili vinegar on it as well and things like that?
Yeah, you have to.
I don't know what it is. I'm just not a fan of pie mash. It's really funny because it's like I should be, but I don't like. Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway, my mother-in-law likes it. My wife likes it. We get it. Nigel Khan delivers it to us, and it's very, very nice. And he's a top bloke. But yeah, that's all I know about it. But yeah, 2 and 2. I mean, that's what she has. That's why I have to order. So 2 and 2. But yeah, as you said, you have mentioned it a few times, and we've only been talking for 17 minutes. So
slightly obsessed.
Just saying that. I think you mentioned more times the advent calendars. No, I'm joking. I'm just winding you up. No, Jay, just winding you up. Right. Okay. Let's talk about your Hammers 11. So obviously, what we try and do is everyone who comes on, we get them to basically pick their team. So their team. So it's your 11. So you can pick whoever you want. Obviously, have to be West Ham players. But the only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. So obviously, if it was like your Dream 11, it'll be always Bobby Moore and Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking
the ones
and two right. But unfortunately, you and me were not around to see him. Even me, I wasn't around to see Bobby Moore play, so he's not in my team. So, and that's what makes it quite interesting, because it's not the same 11s all the time. It's basically who we interview and sort of the generation that interviewee is in. So he's from. So that's what we try and do. You can play, so you can just do like 4-4-2, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but it's your 11. That's what I mean. That's what's important. So it's your 11. The people you'll be happy to, come out to Bubbles in the London Stadium with. So. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll start off in goal. So who's in goal for the Sadie 11? This is the question everyone wants to know.
So do you know what? I did think about this, and I thought about it, and I spoke to Neil about it. I don't have 11. I have one person, and I have a reason why.
The Hammers won. I like it. The Hammers won. Go
Honestly, on. This is my honest reason. I have a reason for it. They're all good footballers. They're all really good because obviously they've got to where they've got to. But I have one person because of what he does. And how he uses his name and how he doesn't forget his roots and how he's still humble. And that's like that I really appreciate, is how someone's still humble, even though they are where they are.
Yeah.
And it's going to sound all really cliche, but it is Mark Noble. So
we're going to have 11 Mark Nobles.
Yes, because of his work ethic.
We all dream of a team of 11 Mark. All right, I like it. I like it. It's a massive cop out, but I like it. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna in goal, Mark Noble, left back, right back, centre backs, left wing, right wing, and to be honest, Mark probably played most of those positions in his 506 games. He sort of played as a front as a number 10 recently, so that could be up front as well. So, okay, so why do we love Mark Noble so much, Sadie? That's the question.
So, he's a good player. He does play very well, but I'm not on the side of like, oh, they play well. Like, they're all very good players, but his work ethic, how he is as a person, like. I've got stuff signed before, and he's a very nice person. He doesn't forget his roots. Like, my sister went to Royal Dock School, and he was always there. He'd always pop in and say hello. He would never forget his roots, and again, he just wouldn't be too big for his boots. He's always very humble. I feel like that's a good thing for people to look up to, especially young people, because you think, oh, I'm going to make it, I'm going to do this, and then you forget everything you've worked for, who's helped you up the ladder. Like, never forget who's helped you up the ladder, because they're the same people that can knock it from the bottom.
Very true. It's very true. And I think what West Ham have above most teams, probably in the Premier League, I'd say, is you've got a club captain who is first and foremost a fan. And I think that makes a huge difference. I've been very, very fortunate. Obviously, I'm still at the ground at the moment, and I've been for the last 13 games, if it was behind closed doors. And obviously, when Mark's not picked, it's almost like we used to on Sky Sports. They used to do this thing called like player cam, where you used to literally go on one player and you could watch the game from that player. I did that with Mark at the Chelsea game last season and watched him because he wasn't playing. He was like sitting in the disabled area, basically. That's where they all sit, all the squad that are not picked, because it's already like 2 meters apart, and it's already sort of just because obviously space for the wheelchairs and stuff. So he was there, and it was like watching a fan watching the game. You know what I mean? I mean, people know that Martin Noble's a West Ham fan, but actually seeing it in real life was brilliant.
He is the team. He's not just played for the team because he likes the team. Like, he loves that team, and he's going to play for it because that's what he believes he should do. And that's really nice to see that someone's doing it because they still have the love and the passion for it. Not just, I'm going to play for this team because it's a really big team. Like, I'm going to play for it because this is where I've wanted to be, and I've built myself up to this. And I'm going to stay with it because I am determined to stay there.
No, I agree. There were opportunities, I think, for him to move on to other clubs and stuff like that. But as you said, he wanted to play, and it's sort of like the old-fashioned footballer who's like, and I think that's why a lot of fans don't warm to new players that come in, because it's like they're not Billy Bonds and they're not Trevor Brooking and they're not Alvin Martin, and they're not. And Martin Noble was like a throwback to that era. And I think that's why he's more revered. And hopefully, Mr. Rice will be our next Mark Noble. Who knows? I mean, he's not. I mean, Deck's not a silly man at all. It'd be funny seeing Mark. When Mark plays a 6 out of 10, we give him a 7 or an 8 because he's Mark Noble. Do you know what I mean? He gets the extra boost for being Mark Noble. And I'd like to see that Deck would do that as well. But no, I admire your selection. 11 Mark Nobles. We all dream of a team of Mark Nobles. That's what you used to say about John Pansel, and we'll say about Mark Noble. I like it. It's different. We've had 230. We've had 230 interviews or so. That's the first time we've had one selection. And you know what? I think it's a good idea, because I think he deserves the credit he gets.
There was thought process behind it, and I thought,
I like it. I think it's great. Why pick a team? For pick? I mean, a lot of, for some people they go, straight away, but actually, thinking about it, for a lot of people, they might have, people have said, oh well, I've had to put a right back in, I don't really know who to put, so I'm going to put Carl Jenkinson in, or Aaron Cresswell, because there's been no one else. Not for Sadie. Mark Noble all the way. And I like it. I like it. Makes it a shorter episode, but I like it. I think it's a good idea. Do you know what I mean? And it means we can, I think it's a nice idea. And as you said, he's, you can't fault the man's work ethic. Every time he comes on, even if it's for 10 minutes or so, he's going to put it about for 10 minutes. He's going to try his hardest for those 10 minutes. He's the one player on the pitch you don't have to worry about putting a shift in, because he's a fan. And no, I think it's great. I think so this is now a Mark Noble appreciation episode, and too bloody right. And And yes, I love it.
It's stalker now. I'm not.
So anyway, so when Mark gets that injunction taken out against you, for within 500 meters of London Stadium, some people would love that, if the team were playing shit. But it's quite good. But on a serious note, he says, bringing it back to talk about stuff. If you were given, like at the moment, obviously, because we've just, the potential is 2,000, 4,000 maybe fans coming back in. We don't know how it's going to work. If you were given a golden ticket, would you go next week?
Oh, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, because it's a sense of like belonging there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have a really rubbish day, you'll see someone be like, "You're right," you won't even know them, and it can really cheer you up.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It's just, but I wish it was
even if you're like 2 meters away from each from the fan, because that's I think that's going to have to happen. I think it's going to be literally you're in one sort of spot, 2 meters away is going to be another person 2 meters another way. It's all about just being there for you.
Yeah, just cool. It's memories, atmosphere, the whole vibe.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is you'll be somewhere where, only 2,000 people will be at, so out of 60,000. So it's still a thing, and you'll always have that as a memory as well, wouldn't you? That I was the one who was there, and it was, and you could have hoped probably a boring 0-0 draw, knowing our luck, for if everybody comes back. But it's interesting. Now I asked that question now because some people have different opinions, and we did a whole show on it last week or yesterday about it, and it really, a lot of people are like, I want to go because I've had enough. I've had enough of watching it on TV. I don't care if there's going to be no one singing or whatever. I just want to be there and just experience it again. And
it's a different feeling. Like I feel like it's the same feeling when I'm on stage. You get like, it's really hard to explain this feeling, but you feel it, and then like, if someone scores a goal, everything sort of goes a bit like, I sound like a weirdo now, but it's like, it's the excitement. It goes a bit fuzzy, and it's sort of like, do you know in films when it goes like slow motion, you hear all the clapping, and you just take that to appreciate it.
I get it.
That's what it's like.
No, I do understand. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. It's like a bit of a blur, isn't it? I think I get that at the games now, because it's like I come out of the game afterwards and thinking, oh, well, that was 6 hours of my life. I'll never get back. But it doesn't seem like 6 hours of your life because, well, for me, because obviously I get here 4 hours before and then there's the game. So it is 6 hours. But yeah, I know what you mean. You come out thinking, oh, okay, well, and you sort of, you feel like you've gone 10 rounds with Tyson, when you sit in the car, you're like, oh, and you're either happy or you're sad. And I can imagine it is like, I can imagine it's like for some, obviously when you're on stage and it's like the adrenaline buzz when you come off stage, and it's not obviously as dramatic as that because you're not playing, you're watching, but still, if you come out of the theatre and you see a really good show, you're buzzing about it, aren't you, on the way home, and you're still going through the program and looking at everything and talking about do you remember when this person did this, or he buggered his lines up and stuff like that. It's the same thing. No, I get it totally. I get it totally. As a fellow thespian, I get it. I was the first one at my school to get an A star in drama, so hashtag just saying. So yeah, I was going to do it at university. I did it at A level, and I was going to do it, but I got talked out of it, and I do regret that, to be honest. Anyway, we'll call that a day, I think, Sadie. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
I love it. It's been great fun. It's been a right giggle, and it's been different, but in a good way. You know what I mean? 230 episodes. It gets a bit samey. It gets a bit samey. So let's just mix it up and just have a tea with Mark Nobles. I love it, babe. It's brilliant. And obviously, follow Sadie on Twitter and stuff, because all the food bank stuff and the advent calendar appeals and stuff like that. Her and Neil. It's all good stuff, and we can help as much as many as we can. It's absolutely brilliant. So thank you to everyone watching as well. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a like, give it a share. If you listen to it on podcast, give it a like, give it a share. If it's Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever, give it a like, give it a share. And until next time, from myself and from Sadie, take care, everyone. Stay safe, wash those hands, come on you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.